Hello everybody, my name is Company and here is Kushiro Marshland, Hokkaido. If you plan to travel Japan, you may heard about this island. And also you catch Hokkaido is very wide. It's 60% of England. But many tourists just visit Sapporo and its nearby place. Finally, you get a question. So what's out there? This video is for you, a general Hokkaido guide. I will tell you almost thing of this island from south to north, west to east. Yes, it's time to discover this wild northern island of Japan. Let's go.
Hokkaido is the one of the four main islands of Japan. The name means Northern Sea region. It's very far north in East Asia and is heavily influenced by the sea. So it's the one of the snowiest areas in Japan. But surprisingly, it's not that far north compared to Europe. The European cities with similar latitudes to Sapporo are Rome and Marseille. What an interesting our planet. And this island is so big. It's about 65 the size of England and twice the size of the Netherlands. While in Japan, it's only 22% of the country's total area. On the other hand, the population is really small compared to the area. The population is about 5.3 million, which is just over 4% of Japan. And over 40% of the population is concentrated in the Sapporo metropolitan area. The rest of the island is pretty much empty. As a result, Hokkaido travel destinations can be categorized into three. The first is the big city, Sapporo. Almost tourists of Hokkaido visit Sapporo. The second is small cities and towns scattered throughout the island. Some of them are quite large, over 300,000 people, and some are just villages. There are lakeside or mountainous onsen towns and ski towns. It's not easy to get around at Sapporo, but there are many places that are accessible by public transportation. People go to these places depending on what they like. The last is wild nature. It is a really big area, but it's not easy to get to, so it's not a big part of the tourism. But the scenery is absolutely stunningly beautiful. So that's an overview of traveling in Hokkaido. Now let's take a look at each region of this huge island. Central Hokkaido in Japanese is called Do-o. It means the center of the region. It's made up of the Ishikari Plain on the east and the mountains to the west. Ishikari Plain has Hokkaido's largest city, Sapporo. Also, it's Japan's fourth largest city. The western mountains has lakes and small towns in between. Sapporo is a planned metropolis with a short history. Because of this, the city is modern and straightforward. In the center of the city is Odori Park, which is beautiful in both summer and winter. If you go up to the top to the tall Sapporo TV tower, you will get a great view of this straightforward city plan of Sapporo. The nearby clock tower is another of the city's landmarks, and one of the few remaining modern relics. Not far to the south is Susukino District. It is one of the largest nightlife districts in Japan. The area is bustling with tourists all year round. The Nikka Whiskey sign here is the last landmark of Sapporo, along with the TV tower and clock tower. But straight parks and busy streets are not the end of Sapporo. From the observation deck at the top of Mount Moiwa, you can get a really great view of this city. There's Nakajima Park and Maruyama Park, both close to the city center. In the summer, it's a normal park, but in the winter, it's really beautiful when it's covered in snow. The first food you should try in Sapporo is miso ramen. This ramen is not very old, but it has a lot of local flavor. Miso is Japanese soybean paste and its flavor is impressive. Don't forget Genghis Khan too. It is grilled lamb and vegetables on an iron plate. The taste is amazing. The final dish is soup curry, another Sapporo specialty. It's characterized by its Southeast Asian flavor and its ingredients are still in their original form. Coincidentally, they all taste much better in winter. Otaru is located about 30 kilometers northwest of Sapporo. The Otaru Canal is really famous here. Warehouses along the canal and the modern buildings of Sakaimachi Street, they are keywords for traveling in Otaru. What I recommend to eat in Otaru is hanmiyage. It is old-style fried chicken. Other seafood or dessert are popular in other regions too, but hanmiyage only exists in Otaru. On a similar distance, on the other side, is New Chitose International Airport. Hokkaido is very big, so there are many airports all over the island, but this is the main gateway of Hokkaido. There are many things to do at the airport, such as character shops and ramen street, so even the 2 or 3 hour wait is fun. Noboribetsu is located on the south coast of central Hokkaido. The city itself is pretty ordinary, but the main part is a hot spring town a little further inland. Noboribetsu Onsen is very famous. The main attraction is Hell Valley. You can understand its name directly. With so many people, there are plenty of ryokans and the other things to do in the area. A bear park, a folk village, a walking path. Hot Spring of Noboribetsu is the best choice for a quick trip to Hokkaido. Beyond Noboribetsu is another small city called Muroran. The view of the Cave of Earth and Tokarisha Observatory is spectacular. 2 huge lakes above Noboribetsu. Lake Toya is to the west and Lake Shikotsu is to the east. The 2 lakes are far apart and not really related, but each has a different and unique landscape. Shikotsu is more majestic and Toya is a bit more rustic, but both are great places to hang out. There is Mount Yote on the northwest of Lake Toya. At around 900 meters high is a beautiful mountain that often referred to as a mini Fuji. And the area around Mount Yote is home to some of the best skiing in Hokkaido. Niseko to the west and Usutsu to the east. Great snow conditions, great mountain views, easily access to the airport, so a lot of foreign peoples come here. The most expensive ski resorts in Hokkaido are all here too, especially in Niseko. The last part in the central Hokkaido, it is Shakotan in the northwestern corner of the region. Its accessibility is by far the worst in the central Hokkaido, but Kamui Misaki is the best view in the region. Especially the color of the sea is so beautiful and clear in Shakotan, so people call this color as Shakotan blue. The tail of the island is southern Hokkaido. It's called Donan as Japanese. This area doesn't have much of presence. It's a neighborhood that's rarely mentioned as if it doesn't exist, except Hakodate, the center city of southern Hokkaido. It is the best historical city in Hokkaido. Japan opened 5 ports when they started to modernize, and Hakodate was the most northern of them. There are many modern style buildings more than Otaru. And this is not the end. Hakodate's night view is considered one of the best in Japan, along with Kobe and Nagasaki. The daytime is just as amazing too. There are also unique local specialties. Hakodate Shio Ramen with chicken broth. Shio means salt. Lucky Piero's unforgettable hamburger. Of course, being a seaside town, the seafood is basically of high quality. This is also the northern end of the current Shinkansen line. If you take the Shinkansen from Tokyo, Hakodate is the final stop. It's over 250 kilometers from Sapporo by road, so it's not an easy place to get to. But Hakodate is worth a trip at least once. Northern Hokkaido is called Tohoku. It's pronounced similar to Tohoku, north of Tokyo, but it's different. Tohoku means east and north, and Tohoku means north of the region. There are 2 main tourist destinations, near Daisetsu-san and Wakanai at the northern tip. The vast center of northern Hokkaido is not very famous. Asaikawa is the second largest city in Hokkaido. It's the only other city besides Sapporo with a population over 300,000. The city has 2 main contents. The first is Asayama Zoo, the best zoo in Hokkaido. Many people come to see the penguin walk in the winter. The second is Asaikawa's unique shoyu ramen. This is the one of the 3 major ramen in Hokkaido, along with Sapporo miso ramen and Hakodate shio ramen. It's made with a blend of seafood and pork bone broth and seasoned with soy sauce. It's both refreshing and hearty. Totally recommended. The best noodle dish in Hokkaido, in my opinion. BA and Furano are the most popular day trip destinations from Sapporo. It is one field that stretches south of Asahikawa. It is surrounded by Yubari Mountains on the west and Daisetsusan National Park on the east. The content here can be categorized by two different standards. The first is field and mountain range, and the second is summer and winter. The combination of field and summer is farms and flower gardens like this. The normal farms are in everywhere, and the flower gardens are few. Shikisai no Oka, Palm Tomita, Lavender Garden, and others. The combination of mountain and summer is the blue pond. In winter is frozen white and not so pretty. The combination of field and winter is this snowy landscape. It's fantastic, especially when you can see the big snowy mountains in the distance. And the Christmas tree, Canamaris tree. I think the trees in the field are definitely pretty in the winter. This Whitebeard Fall is the combination of mountain and winter. Ninguru Terrace is also beautiful, and the scenery inside the mountains is even better in winter. There are many other beautiful mountains in summer, but the scenery of winter is rare. There are also some tourist spots on the other side of Daisetsusan. There's a cable car that takes you directly to the top of the mountain, but the most unusual scene here is the hot spring town of Sounkyo. Sounkyo is like a winter wonderland where everything is frozen. Wakkanai is the northern tip of the Tohoku region. It's a very small city with a population of 35,000. The area around here is gently rolling hills, but it's too cold to farm. So the people here are mainly involved in dairy farming. The scenery is gorgeous and it's not very populated, so it's a fun place to drive around in the car. If you take the limited express train Soya from Sapporo, you can get here directly without any transfer. The city's on highlight is the North Breakwater Dome. It's a strange looking dome and some people take pictures of it. Further north, on the Cape Noshapu, there are some cheap seafood restaurants. You can have a set of uni rice bowl like this for only 2,600 yen. There's also a small aquarium, a monument to the cave, and hot spring nearby. If that's all there is, there's really no reason to come to Wakkanai. But there are two destinations that connect with it. The first is Cape Soya, east of Wakkanai City. It's known as the northernmost point of Japan. The cave itself is quite ordinary, but many people come here for its significance. Other than that, it's not easy to enjoy the scenery around Wakkanai without a car. But the hills of Soya Cave, which are served by buses, are a great opportunity for public transportation travelers. And there are two islands west of Wakkanai, Rishiri and Ebun. They can be reached by ferry from the port. The scenery of Mount Rishiri is similar to that of Mount Fuji, and the color of the sea under these islands is really pretty. It's not as much as Shakotan, but it's crystal clear for the north. Eastern Hokkaido, or Doto in Japanese, is the wide area beyond Daisetsusan National Park. This region is explained by its enormous scale. The plains are vast and the marsh seems endless. Mountains and lakes are huge. It's where Hokkaido's nature is at its best. But the cities are relatively unattractive. This area is wide but sparsely populated, and naturally the railroads are bad. So I highly recommend to rent a car. I want to start here, Mikuni Pass. This is the gate which you will encounter when you go down from the eastern side of Daisetsujan National Park. In my opinion, this is the best road in Hokkaido. If you're traveling by a car, you shouldn't miss it. After Mikuni Pass, you will enter the Tokachi Plain. It is Japan's premier agriculture and dairy region. Drive and drive, but fields never end. If you are from America or Australia, this is not special. But you should know that 70% of Japan is mountainous. It's very unique in Japan. The center city of Tokachi is Obihiro. The city itself is small, with a population of just around 150,000. But the city's attractions are just as good as Asahikawa. First up is Rokatei, the dessert store. Its main store is located in Obihiro. And there is a small izakaya street, so you can spend a day or two free. But Obihiro's biggest specialty is the pork bowl butadong. It's really good quality for around $8 or $9. Next up is Kushiro. The Kushiro city has a population of 150,000. It's similar to Obihiro, but is a port town. The limited express train Ozora comes here from Sapporo via Obihiro. Kushiro city center is even more desolate than Obihiro, but the food is much various than Obihiro. First up is Gatedong of Kushiro Washo Market. You can customize your own seafood on the rice. There are plenty of kaisendong in other neighborhoods, but this is not common. There's also Kushiro Shoyu Ramen, which is much softer than Asaikawa. Robadayaki is a grilling seafood over charcoal. It is also a local specialty. Finally, spakatsu, or spaghetti tonkatsu, is also popular. But the main body of Kushiro travel is not city. It is on further north, in the great outdoors. There is the vast Kushiro Marsh just north of the city. Speaking of marsh, maybe you will think, do I must say that? But when you go there, you will be surprised by the size of it. It is hard to get inside the marsh, but there are several good viewpoints along the edges. And further north from the marsh is Akanmashu National Park. It is made up of 3 lakes and several mountains, Lake Akan, Lake Kusharu, and Lake Mashu from west to east. On the south side of Lake Akan, there is an Ainu film folk village and several ryokans. The lake is completely frozen in winter, so it's possible to camp on the lake. Kusharu is the largest of the 3 lakes. On the western side of the lake is the best viewpoint called Biroho Pass. It's really cold in the winter. The wind chill is insane, but the view makes up for it. There are several small hot springs on the eastern lake shore. Here, like in Kagoshima, the sand itself is heated by a magma. This is called a tsunayu. In winter, there are many swans too. Finally, the blue lake Mashu. This is the most isolated and mysterious lake, because it's completely surrounded by mountains. You can see it from the observation deck and then go back down. Between Kusharo and Lake Mashu, there is ever smoldering sulfur hot spring of Mount Ito. It makes Tsunayu hot. Nemuro is the easternmost city of Hokkaido. It is a small city with a population of less than 30,000 people. It's also the smallest of Hokkaido's regional center. It is the only major city in Hokkaido that is not served by a limited express train. Nemuro's downtown is much less vibrant than Wakanae, but Cape Nosapu on the eastern end of the island has its share of visitors. It's the easternmost point of Japanese main islands. Nemuro Hanamaru, a tasty sushi chain, started from here too. And the area in between, from Kushiro to Nemuro, in the vastness of Hokkaido, this is probably the most desolate area. Rolling hills inland and cliffs along the coast, in between there are some spectacular, uncrowded lookout points. Cape Kiritapu is home of wild sea otters. You can admire their extreme cuteness from afar. My favorite spot here, though, is Cape Namida. It is where you feel like you are alone in the world. There are many more grandiose viewpoints than this one, but not many have such a lonely feeling. Abashiri is the center of Hokkaido's northeast region. It is the terminus of the limited express train Ohotsuku from Sapporo. It's a port city, but there is also impressive forest lakes right next to the city. There are ryokan and campers along the beautiful lake shore. And the Abashiri prison is a great exhibit on the history of Hokkaido's development, using convicts to construct railway. It's a bit like Siberia, but Abashiri's real content is the late winter drift ice. You can go out to the sea on an icebreaker and see it up close. Shiretoko Peninsula between Abashiri and Nemuro. This is also a national park, Shiretoko National Park. As you follow the plains south of Abashiri, you will see the magnificent mountain ranges runs eastward. This is Shiretoko. This is the observatory of Road to the Sky. It is at the way to Shiretoko. The main attractions of Shiretoko National Park are mostly clustered on the north side of the peninsula. Oshinkoshin Fall, Shiregoko. Goko means 5 lakes. Hamoiwaka Onsen waterfall deep inside. This is also the best bear habitat in Hokkaido. The Shiregoko guided tour will stop immediately if you encounter a bear. Route 334 through the peninsula is also very scenic. There is an amazing viewpoint for Mount Laosu. Shiratoko Peninsula is also completely different in summer and winter. The mountains and the sea are covered with white color. The magnificence of the sea is hard to match. Even the largest snowy lakes of inland don't. And here, you can actually walk on the drift ice. It's a different experience from the icebreaker. But there are also coasts for winter. Some activities and roads closed during the snow season. No such thing as a free lunch. Okay, let's recap what you learned today. A quick summary of Hokkaido, Japan.
Yes, this is it. Now you learn about amazing things of Hokkaido. Now I'm sure that you can read Hokkaido's map, where it is, what it is. This place where I finished this video is Daisetsusan National Park. And thank you for watching this long video. Thank you again.